Hi, I'm Karen McLeod.
And I'm Peyton Melange.
This is Italy's national news broadcast. So today we're going to start off with Italy's national politics, since there's been a lot of news surrounding the government and the election. So GSP Conte was said to be Italy's new prime minister, but has no political background, being a law professor. He was appointed to be the new prime minister by Italian president Sergio Mattarella. This occurred after Luigi Di Maio of the anti-establishment Five-Star Movement had the most votes, along with the Legion. So with these two parties having the most votes, there was no one majority, so they decided to vote in Conte. Now, he eventually decided to decline this offer from the president. Now, this has left Italy in a political crisis, scrambling to find a government for the country. Now, the president has had talks with Carlo Cottarelli to be the new prime minister. Cottarelli is a former International Monetary Fund economist. He is known for making cuts to public spending in his time as an economist for the IMF. Paolo Savona was nominated by the League and the Five-Star Movement, but Mattarella refused his nomination as it could alarm investors, having consequences for Italian government debt. A reason Mattarella is taking cautious measures is due to both parties having been opposed to the euro, which in turn would greatly affect the country. The result of Cottarelli being in talks with the president, and it looks as though he will be said to be the interim prime minister. Before this can happen, though, Cottarelli must have parliamentary confidence votes in order to obtain the government. Some believe that this will not occur, though. After these recent moves made by the president, Di Maio and others are calling for the impeachment of Mattarella. Di Maio has later backed off his threat, but he's still encouraging Italians to protest against Mattarella by draping the flag outside their windows as a form of peaceful and symbolic demonstration towards the president. It seems as though the only solution to this problem we face is to have another election, which could be coming as early as August. Alright, so now we're going to talk about the new national news that has been going on the past few days. So in recent news of the election's effects on the economy, we've seen quite the financial breakdown, not just for Italy, but the whole world as well. A sell-off of Italian bonds saw the yield on a 2-year debt breach 2%, meaning that the Italian short-term bonds saw their largest one-day jump in 26 years. These bond prices are crucial, as it is what mainly affects the cost of borrowing from the government. Italy's current debt is at 130% of its economic output. The European banks, especially those in Italy, have been exposed to government debt after the bond sell-off hit the share prices of these banks. Banco BPM, Banco Generali, Unicredit, and BPER Banca all closed down between 5 and 6.7%. So Italy being the third largest and accounting for 15% of the region's GDP, this makes Italy much bigger than Greece, which was the source of the last Eurozone crisis. To give an example of the concern to investors, the euro dropped 1% against the US dollar on Tuesday. Still unclear on the platform the populace will be running on in the new elections that will occur. Analysts are saying that it's unlikely that we will stop using the euro. But with increased spending from a new Italian government, this could lead to a heat up in market tension. Italy has been a very large government, third in the world actually, at over 2 trillion euros. With the populist spending plans, this risks weakening its fiscal position and stalling efforts to reform the economy. Majority of Italy's government debt is owed to the Italians, but the European Central Bank also has a large portion of that debt, which goes along with banks and investors from France, Germany, Spain, and Luxembourg. We'll have to wait and see what the future holds for us. If the country leaves the Eurozone due to an anti-Euro government being voted in, and let's see if that's dropped the stocks and bonds throughout the world and its banks.
Now, getting into the healthcare system. Judge Anthony Hayden has issued a long-term case will soon be terminated, taking away a 23-month-old baby's privilege to travel to Italy receiving medical treatment. So this issue has drawn attention from all around Europe, even getting the Pope to speak out about it. The Pope hopes that speaking out about this case, it will allow the child to receive treatment for his rare degenerative neurological condition. So after the appeal was said, it was again rejected by Judge Hayden. And he had said that the claims were sent out by the parents that said that there was a significantly better change in the child's health after being taken off life support. On Monday, the father had reached out to the news and reported that the child was still actually alive and was not suffering at all. The pediatric hospital in Rome has set a plane up to go and receive the child if he is actually released. Hundreds of people have been in protest outside of the Liverpool hospital, trying to convince them to allow this child to move into the Italy's healthcare system to be able to be treated for his rare disease. Rome City Council has approved the motion that states that non-vaccination children have the right to state education. The approval contradicts with the previous 2017 government decrees, which says that every child is expected to be vaccinated before entering school, and if under the age of 6, no entry will be permitted. Mayor Reggie has sent out a letter to the Minister of Health and Education expressing her feelings about how the child who may not be vaccinated should not be removed and lose their right to their education. She also had pointed out that the unvaccinated children should not be removed from nursery school, so ranging from the age of 0 to 6. But it is not the same for the cases for children in preschool, whose parents actually have to pay for a fine for the implements. So her argument says that the infection is not actually the main concern for the health. Her main concern is that the education and healthcare system isn't actually concerned about the infection that the child may have, but involved with the money that they'd rather get from the parents. Reggie's political party, Five Star Movement, takes over the majority of the city council, also the far-right Northern League, and his plans to scrap the compulsory law. The health minister soon later responded with a statement saying, "You can't joke with our children's lives. The vaccine decrees was created to protect those children too small to be vaccinated and those suffering from the disease which may cannot be vaccinated." He does not believe having a political leader who believes challenging the law which fights against the safety of the youth and other is the right choice for the country. It is thought that the recent fight against the vaccination is the reason for the sudden rise in measles across the country. So now moving on to the business. A total of 47% of jobs in Italy are gained through informal channels, Issel said, with the figure rising at 51% in the south, where unemployment levels are the highest. So the majority of the remaining jobs were found through the traditional means, including adverts and employment agencies. The trend does not appear to revising, though, the young Italians among whom the unemployment rate is the highest. Graduates of 2011 were employed in 2015. Just 1 in 4 were found their role through the recommendations from a friend or relative, with a third of them having found success responding to job ads. ISAT states that finding work through help of friends and family on average leads to a job with lower pay, less stability, and less corresponding to the individual's qualifications. The importance of personal networks present a hurdle to social mobility, according to the report, which is noted to the family wealth as well as parents and relatives, occupations, and levels of education. Male graduates living in northern Italy were the demographic most likely to find jobs within 12 months, according to 2017 data, with the level of education being one of the key factors. With Italy's GDP reaching its highest level since 2010 last year, after annual growth of 1.5%, employment rates also rose for the 4th consecutive year, but remained far from the EU average, with the younger generation seeing the smallest increase. There were also significant differences based on gender and location, with fewer than half of Italian women being employed, so this is about 49% of the people, and women representing 3/4 of all part-time workers and higher unemployment in the southern regions.
Next, we're going to go over to Con with the weather.
Hello, and welcome to Italy's national weather forecast. I'm here today in Rome at the high school football field. Overall, the weather throughout Italy is looking very nice with an average temperature of 25 degrees Celsius. Trento is currently having 25 and expecting some thunderstorm later in the day. Milan is really moody today with a lot of clouds, with a temperature of 26. Venice is having a lot of sun, reaching 26. Turin, Genoa are going to have a lot of clouds with little to no sun, with a temperature of 20 and 23. Trieste, Florence, Aconda, Perugia are looking pretty hot with a degree around 26 to 27. Moving a little bit to the south, we have Rome, staying at 27 degrees, like as you can see here. But we have a slight chance of raining tonight. Bari is at 27 degrees Celsius, and Naples is at 28. Cagliari has bare clouds with Palermo, they have the same temperature of 27. Catanzaro, Catania at 26. In general, the weather is really nice with a not very hot temperature. You can expect some rain at night, so always prepare yourself for the worst. Bring your umbrella, your coat with you in case it's gonna rain. That's it for today's weather forecast. Thank you for tuning in.
Now, moving on to Con with the music and entertainment.
Hello, I'm here today in Rome at the music festival, and I'm here to tell you about the top 5 Italian music chart. Placing at number 5, These Days by Rudimental featuring Jess Klein, Macklemore, and Dan Kaplan. The song came out on January 19th, 2018. The music video for the song came out on January 25th and currently having 155 million views on YouTube. The song is about after breakup and the couples looking back to their beautiful memories.
Told her I had to go, and I know it ain't pretty.
Staying at number 4 is Questa Nostra Stupida Canzone di Amor by the Gorneristi. The music video for the song came out on March 20th, 2018, and is having 21 million views on YouTube. The song title is translated to "The Stupid Love Song of Ours." A loving man writing a song about his girlfriend, talking about what if one day they're separated, how would they change? On third place, X by Nicky Jam and J Balvin. The song is almost half a billion views on YouTube and it came out in March 2018. The song talks about a boy who has a lot of bad reputation on the streets, falling in love with a girl. He's not going to lie about all of his background, but because of love, he'll be honest and he doesn't care about what she thinks. Second place belongs to Divide by Gemitas featuring Coas. The song just came out on April 26, 2018, and it already becomes an instant hit. Coming in hot in the first place is La Cintura by Alvaro Soler. The song came out on March 29, 2018, and is currently having over 37 million views on YouTube. The song is about a guy falling in love with a girl, and it seems like love has taken over the guy and he's asking her to be his.
Now for the sports.
Thank you, Cameron. Yesterday, we were at a nearby school watching a track and field practice. Hello, and welcome to the national sports segment of this broadcast. Today, we're here in Venice at a nearby high school watching the track team practice. We're here to talk about 6 people being a part of the Juventus fan base who have been injured during a celebration of the team's 7th Serie A title and 4th Italian Cup on the streets of Turin. It is reported that the bus was carrying the fans of the club following close behind the team until they came tangled up in electrical cables of the tram. 6 people were said to be injured, while 2 stayed overnight in the hospital and were treated for concussions and neck injuries. One man was said to be 38-year-old Italian and the other a 63-year-old Irishman. And other news relating back to the Juventus soccer team, Buffon has guided his fellow teammates to another Series A title and 4th Italian Cup this season. During an interview, he quoted, "This is an adventure. To end this adventure with the 2 new victories was important to him," and also informed the media that this would be his final match with the team. He said that he is just needing time to reflect on himself and visualize on a future no matter if it's on or off the field. When he was asked what he was thinking of doing, he responded with, "Saturday, I'm playing in a match, and that's the only thing that is certain until 15 days ago. I was sure to stop playing, but I received some exciting proposals, both on and off the pitch." Off the pitch, the most interesting was made by the Juventus president, Andrea Engadilla. It is expected to hear a decision coming soon from the goalkeeper, and he believes that reflecting on his career for the next few days will create a definite answer.
Now we're going to move on to Con with some local news stories about a 9 square meter house.
Hello, and welcome to Italy's local news. A man living in a 9 square meter house. Yes, you heard that right. An Italian architect, Leonardo Di Chara, designed his house for himself. Because to buy a house in Italy, there's a lot of scams and things you have to care about, so he best to do this to improve the life of the people with his own idea. The house is very movable because it has wheels under it, so you can move it around like with a tractor. This is very common in the US, but not in Italy, so it's kind of new to Italian people. With only 9 square meters, for a house, this house is really flexible. You can fold the bed down from the wall and also as your dining table. So like for each purpose, it has like different space for you to do it. If you fold everything up into the wall, you have a space to do yoga, exercise, and even have a party. Our designer once had a party, a disco party, up to 15 people. Leonardo believed that his small house idea is a solution to houses crisis in Europe. The only main problem he has is to get his idea goes through the government to be approved by them. And if you live in a tiny house in Italy, you will not be registered as a residence, and you will not have the same benefits as other people, such as like healthcare system, transport system, and other public services. Right now, his tiny house is just a prototype, and with everything custom made, they can cost up to 50,000 euros. His main goal for the future is to get companies to give startups loans easier, and also talk to banks and talk to them, convince them with this idea, so people can like take out loans to buy his house and make Italy a better place with like smaller houses, according to his point of view.
If you think that the small house is weird, wait until you watch the Italian ads.
Scacco.
Io mangio la merendina più sana che c'è, fatta con tanto buon latte, le uova più fresche e poi marmellata, farina e tutto l'amore della mia mammina.
Chocorie, adore it and devour it.
That's it for today's newscast. Thank you for tuning in.